Welcome to the SmartCell Insight, or SCI, demonstration series for Release 3.6. In this demonstration, I'll show you the interface functionality and capabilities found in the AP Details page. I'll cover the information displayed, as well as how the output can be filtered to display specific information, including but not limited to data from certain controllers, or certain access points, or only for a specific period of time. So let's get started. Here we have our SmartCell Insight login page, so I'll just log in real quick with the username of admin and put in my password here and log in. And as always, when you first log into the SmartCell Insight, you get the overview page that covers the previous day up to whatever time it is in the current day, and it'll start populating with information that's been collected from all of the different controllers, smart zones, directors, and access points around the network. But what we're interested in is the AP Details page over here. Now, when you click on this tab, what it wants you to do is provide them a MAC address, and it'll take you to the details for that particular AP. So typically you won't be coming to this AP Details tab through this page. You'll probably come to it through perhaps the network page over here. And when we look at this, you can see our top APs by traffic volume. If you click on one of these, it'll take you to the AP Details page. But we want to take a look at a specific AP over here. So let me get that AP's MAC address in here for us. So this is an AP that's had some activity. I picked this out so that we could see information that's relevant to what we want to look at here in this demonstration. So what we get first is we get the summary page over here. And with the summary page, we can see the IP address of the access point. Of course, we see the name of it over on the left. Its MAC address that we put in, serial number information, its status, whether it's online or offline, and we get the uptime, which in this case has been 13 days and 20 hours, and there haven't been any reboots over the selected period of time. So keep in mind the selected period of time is the same as what we saw on the overview page. It's basically the last 24 hours and then some. So it's the previous whole day and whatever hours of today based on your local time zone. So let's go ahead and change that. We want to take a look at a little more information than this. So I'm going to go ahead and pick basically every day of this month. So we can always go in and use this section over here to create a custom date range to look at a specific period of time. Perhaps you want to look at a specific month or a specific week. It's really up to you. You have a lot of flexibility in that. Just keep in mind that the larger date range that you select, the more time it's going to take to load all that information because it has to query all the libraries and pull all this information back up to load it to the screen. So again, summary information won't have changed, but you'll get a performance section over here, and this will tell you traffic levels, number of clients, and the signal noise ratio over that period of time. So this is basically the entire period of time that we've been looking at, which is May 1st to May 22nd of this year. Now down to the left over here, we have the details page, and this is really useful, the AP hierarchy. So this tells you a lot of information about where this AP is configured and where it is in the hierarchy of that configuration. So it starts with the system section or the cluster name, then it's the specific controller that it's connected to, down to the zone that it's in, and then the AP group that it's in, and then this is the AP itself, and giving it the AP's name. Over here you get the model number, the version, the location that this is if it's been programmed into it, the controller's model version, so this is a virtual SmartCell gateway. We've got the controller serial number, the controller's version, the controller's name, and the controller's MAC address. So you get a lot of information about the connectivity of this AP back to its controller, including its hierarchy and all the details about the controller. And then we get some general stats over here to the right at the bottom. And here we get to see the total number of traffic, which to this point in this time period from May 1st to May 22nd was 23.67 gigabytes of traffic. And you'll notice we get transmit and receive traffic in there. So the transmit is from the access point out to clients. The receive is from clients back to the access point. And there have been 75 total clients over this period of time. As we scroll down here, so first we have the uptime history for this access point in our time window. Not a lot of activity to see here, but if you did see a lot of AP status going up and down, you might notice a problem here and want to deal with that, which would probably show up in some of your trend reports on the overview page anyway. Next we come to the traffic trend section over here. So we get traffic by usage and traffic by radio in this one. So with traffic by usage, we can see how much traffic is being transmitted, how much is being received. You can look at that and click on these boxes to only see management traffic or user traffic. The user traffic is what's using most of the bandwidth here. You can uncheck these boxes to remove one of those. If you don't want to see transmit traffic, you could pull that out, remove the management traffic. So you can use this to filter out the information that you want to see that's relevant to you in this particular environment. Now, you can also sort over here for the data range that you're looking at. So you could look at it with hour-by-hour reports, or we could change this to day-by-day reports. And you'll see the graph really clean itself up when this comes back up, because it's taking the data for the entire day as opposed to hour by hour. So the graph doesn't look as active as it did prior to this. So we'll go back to an hour. And another thing you'll notice is in this report, you can actually specifically filter a date range that's different than the one you've selected up top just for this portion of the report. So this is traffic by usage. Then we can get traffic by radio down here below here. So we can see 5 gigahertz, 2 gigahertz, and all radios. So I'll deselect the all radios and deselect the 2.4 gigahertz, and we can see only the 5 gigahertz sections here. So you can filter on the different radios, who's generating the most traffic on which radio type, or you can just look at all of it and get a whole overview of traffic usage by radio. Then we get some average traffic rates by usage. So this just averages out the information that we saw in the previous graphs. Those were specific data for traffic by usage. So this is just averages it out for us to give us a better feel of just the average flow of traffic through here. You've got the same checkboxes where you can select or deselect specific directions of traffic or specific radios. And as we go down to the unique client trends over time, we can look at some trends of client count. So we can see this again for all radios or the 2.4 gigahertz radios or only the 5 gigahertz radios. And you can see the trends of client connections over this period of time. This is useful when you start seeing anomalies like an excessive number of clients, and an excessive being a relative term because this system collects information all the time and notices any anomalies or any behavior that's different than the normal from all the data it's collected. So of course, that means the more data and the more time that SCI is up and the more data it collects, the more it's going to be able to spot unique trends that occur with client count or traffic volume or things like that, which is what the next section down here is. This one here covers traffic and traffic over time. So it's giving you an idea of at a certain period of time how much traffic is traversing the network. So you can see some spurts of higher than normal traffic, and you might want to look into that and see what event occurred to lead to that different behavior. And of course, you can check and uncheck these boxes to look at only received traffic or transmitted traffic and whether it's user traffic or not. So as we scroll down again, we can see the top 10 clients by volume, by traffic volume on this AP. Remember, all of this information is specific to this one access point. So what we can see here is the top 10 clients, and we get the pie chart over here that if we click on it, will take us over here to the client's details page. We don't want to go to that right now because it'll take a little while to render that and then come back to where we are. But if you click on one of these clients, it'll take you specifically to that client details page, and you'll be able to look at that client and what type of activity that client is doing based on any data you've been able to collect. So we can see some heavy hitting clients. We can come over here to the graph and we can show when those clients have been active and when they've used all this bandwidth. So I've selected our biggest hitters here, but we can take a look at this green one. The colors match over there to the colors over here on the graph. We only want the green. So if we uncheck all of these, we can see traffic for that particular user. And you see a lot of the traffic usage occurred on May 9th at 6 a.m. So just some general information you can get from looking at this top 10 clients by traffic volume. The next one you get is the top 10 applications by traffic volume. Now, with certain controllers, they have to be enabled to do this. They can collect application information and see what type of traffic is the most seen on this particular network. So what we can see here is we can see specific applications and we can see what they're transferring, apple.com, Facebook, things like that. So there's a lot of information that can be collected here and determine how applications are being used on devices that are connected directly to this AP. Next, we have the top SSIDs by traffic. In this particular network, we only have one SSID on this AP, so all of the traffic is consumed by that one particular AP, but notice you'll get receive totals, transmit totals, and total traffic, and number of clients for the access point. If we had multiple APs, or multiple SSIDs here, you would see that total traffic we saw up above at the summary graph split between the multiple SSIDs and giving you an information about which SSIDs are more heavily utilized, which ones are not utilized. Now on all of these, I didn't show you this on the previous ones, but on all of these you can click on this little wheel here and you could add more information to this particular table and get a little more data out of it. So if you wanted to see receive management traffic and transmit management traffic, you could get that here as well. So there's a lot of options and a lot of flexibility in this report. Next, we come to the sessions section. This is the number of sessions that have been active on this device. These are fully disconnected sessions, so it doesn't list sessions that are still active at the moment. It only lists all the ones that have disconnected, and they're sorted by the disconnect time. So you'll get all of the sessions. It looks like up to 1,000 sessions listed here, and giving you an idea of which sections, which host you initiated that session, what SSID they were on, what type of radio they're using, and how much traffic they consumed while they were in that particular session. As we scroll down again, we get a radio signal strength trend report, and this gives us information about the strength of the signal from this AP. Good, useful information. Tells you about other things that might be going on in conjunction, especially with the signal noise ratio trend down below. You can get an idea of how much other noise is out there, potentially causing any interference or any problems with this particular access point's capability to provide good connectivity to clients. We get an airtime utilization trend report. This one here is again for our period of time that we specified. We get a report for both the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz ranges. So lots of good information about the free airtime that's available on this access point for clients to be able to connect and achieve a good quality Wi-Fi signal. Next, we come to a client details report. Now this gives us information about clients. It is sorted by user traffic. So the ones that consume the most user traffic are the ones that are listed first, and they're listed in sequence as that user traffic volume goes down. So it looks like we have three really heavy hitters for client usage here. It gives us receive traffic, transmit traffic, and just overall user traffic, which is the sum of those other two values. It tells you the number of sessions that each of these particular clients have initiated over the time period we're looking at. So from May 1st to May 22nd, we've had 58 different sessions initiated, and gives us information about the host name, the IP address, and a lot of other valuable information about clients. If you click on these clients, it'll actually take you to the client details page for those clients. Next, we come to alarms. We'll see the last 10 alarms. There have only been 3 in the time period we're looking at. Again, all of this data is only based on that date range of May 1st to May 22nd. So we see the AP connection was lost, so we had an AP state change, gives you the alarm codes, gives you information that you can go back and look at user manuals or other manuals and figure out what might have been the cause of a particular alarm that you're seeing from your access points. You also get information about events at the access point. So we'll have different event types of client inactivity timeouts, client disconnects, client joins. We'll get each of those events as they occur. So you're going to see a lot of events in very active access points where lots of clients are joining, disconnecting, being timed out to inactivity. So these are all very common things you might see here. In anomalies, we don't have any here, but anomalies are really useful information. With anomalies, this is based on data that's been collected by SCI for a long period of time, and it looks at information of what's going on the network now and compares it to known trends for the network at particular times, particular days, particular weeks, so that it based on information that's gathered over a long period of time to say this is an anomalous event, this is awkward behavior. So looking at this first one where we have client count on April 21st, and it's a high score of anomaly. The higher number means the more odd or peculiar this event is based on known data for this particular time or date. We don't know what this client count cause is, whether it's excessive number of clients, too few clients. So it's an anomalous event that you can go back and look at those graphs and look at this particular day and say, okay, what happened here? Why did I have more clients connecting or a lot less clients connecting than I normally have? You might have information for different session counts, and it might be because maybe it's a university and they all go on a break. So if the break happens, you're going to have a lot less client activity possibly. So things like that might show up here. So that's what's in the AP Details tab. Now, with all of these tabs, whenever you come into one of them and you start manipulating the data and formatting the way you want and getting all the data you want out of it, including which things you want in the tables and which data you have, you can always come over here and click this download button and you can download this report. You can download it as a PDF and it'll show up in a report that looks very similar to the information you're seeing on the screen, or you can download it to a CSV file, which is just a raw comma separated value file that you can use other applications potentially, or just pull into Excel and continue massaging and manipulating the data for ways that are helpful to you. So there's a lot of ways to use this. Of course, you can still come over here, and this is also something that's common with all of the reports. You can come over to the scheduler, and you could set up a new schedule and schedule this report to run at certain periods of time. So when you do this, you give it a name, you select whether you want it in PDF or CSV format. You want to set how often you repeat this scheduled report. You can do it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Once you've completed setting up your report, you put in email addresses separated by commas, and this report will get emailed out. So whatever type of report you selected will get emailed out and go out to the recipients you want to be able to look at and analyze that information. So once you have a report created, you can come over here and select that report, and you can enable it, disable it, or delete it if you don't need it anymore. So these are good, useful reports for, again, things like quarterly reports or monthly reports where maybe for billing purposes, you want monthly reports dumped out to you, and you could export that information into something else and do billing for customers. So that is our AP details report and some of the information you can get out of that. It's a lot of information. It's pulling from everything this access point has seen. You can do custom date ranges. There's a lot of flexibility with it. It's a lot of information for you to use in whatever way you need to use it. So thank you for viewing this presentation, and we hope to see you back for more presentations in this SmartCell Insight version 3.6 demonstration series. Thank you.